All right, guys, today we are going to be dividing polynomials, and we're going to do that using long division. So before we start, I'm just going to give you guys a review of what you learned in elementary school, because we haven't done this in many years, okay? So I'm going to do 305 divided by 2, and I'm going to use long division. That means I'm going to do 305, I'm going to divide it by 2. And what we did way back when, 2 times what will give me 3 or close to 3? 1. Now we multiply these two. So 2 times 1 is 2. Do you guys remember what we do after this? Subtract. So guys, this 2, we're going to put a minus in front of it because we're going to subtract. Okay, 3 minus 2 is 1. Now we bring down the next thing, which is a 0. And we do the same thing. 2 times what will give you 10? 5. And now we're going to multiply. 2 times 5 is 10. What do I do here? Subtract. We're going to put a subtraction symbol. I need y'all to remember that. We subtract, okay? That becomes 0. Now I'm going to bring down the next number, which is a 5. 2 times what will give you close to 5? 2. 2 times 2 is 4. What do I do after this? Subtract, and we get 1. So your answer, I'm going to stop here. My answer is 152, and I put my remainder of 1 over what I divided by 2. So basically 152 and a half, or 152.5, right? Okay. This is how we're going to write our remainders today, okay? Now that we remember how we did this in elementary school, let's now take it to Algebra 2. It's going to be a little more complicated, but the steps are exactly the same, okay? So let's do the very first example. We're going to do this polynomial divided by this binomial. So we're going to write this as this whole thing divided by r plus 3. Now let's ask ourselves, r times what will give me r cubed? R squared. Yes? Okay. So now what do I do after this step? Well, let's go back to what we did a long time ago. What did we do? We had 2 and a 1. What did we do? Multiplied, and then we subtracted. So we're going to do the same thing here. We're going to do r times r squared, which is r cubed. And then what do I do? Subtract it. I'm also going to do 3 times r squared. What's 3 times r squared? And what do I do to it? Subtract it. We subtract after this step. Now, this will always cancel out. What's negative 4 minus 3? So now we have negative 7r squared. And then we bring down the next thing. So bring this down. This will be minus 26r. Okay. Let's do this again. R times what will give you negative 7r squared? Good. So everyone write negative 7r at the top. Okay. Now we multiply. So I want to do r times negative 7r is what? Negative 7r squared, but we subtract it, don't we? So now what does it become? What? It's now a positive sign. It's a plus sign. Okay, let's do the next number. I do 3 times negative 7r. That's negative 21r. But what do I do with this? I'm subtracting it, so this becomes a plus. Basically, your sign changes, okay? These cancel out. Negative 26R plus 21R is negative 5R. Bring down the next item. Okay, so R times what will give you negative 5R? Negative 5. Now we multiply. So I'm going to do R times negative 5. What is that? Negative 5R. But guys, what are we doing? You always subtract, so this becomes a plus sign. Two negatives make a positive. Okay, now let's multiply the next number. 3 times negative 5 is negative 15, but we're subtracting, so two negatives make it a plus. So guys, basically change the signs. This cancels out. That cancels out, so it's just 0. So my answer is what's up here. R squared minus 7R minus 5 is your answer. Now, how do you check your work? You multiply them, yes. Okay, so guys, we're going to multiply our answer by what we divided by. Right? Let me take you back to the elementary example. If I wanted to check my work, 152.5 times 2 will give me 305, won't it? Okay, so in the same way, we can check our answers by multiplying it. I'll do it real quick right here. R plus 3 times R squared minus 7R minus 5. If you multiply this out, meaning you do this times this, which is R cubed. This is minus 7R squared minus 5R. And then the next one, this is plus 3R squared minus 21R squared minus 15. We'll combine like terms. This with this is negative 4R squared. This and this is negative 26R minus 15. Is that what we started with? Yep. So that means, oh, sorry, this is a cubed, so this should be a cube. Thank you for catching that. Okay, so this is what I started out with. That means my answer is correct. You can always check your work. All right, let's do another example. Okay, here is the next example. Let's go ahead and set it up. So this long polynomial is being divided by 3a plus 2. Okay, so we're going to do the same process. 3a times what will give you 3a squared? A squared, we'll put that at the top. Now you multiply. 3a times a squared is 3a cubed. And what do we do with this? Change the sign because we're subtracting it. Next, 2 times a squared is a squared. We're subtracting it, so the sign changes. That cancels out. This will become negative 8a squared. Oh, did I leave out a 2? I'm sorry. Let me back up just one moment. Let me back up. 2 times a squared is 2a squared, and then you make it a negative. Now let's combine this. This is negative 9a squared. Okay, now we're gonna bring down the next term. This is a negative 30a. We're gonna ask ourselves the same question. 3a times what will give you negative 9a squared? Yes, negative 3a. So now we're gonna multiply. 3a times negative 3a is negative 9a squared, but we're subtracting it. So what does two negatives become? A positive. So basically, your sign changes. And we'll do the next number. Next, we have 2 times negative 3a. That's negative 6a. But we're subtracting it. So what do these two negatives become? A positive. So basically, guys, you change the sign. That cancels out. And we are left with negative 24a. And bring down the next item, minus 21. And I'm going to ask the same question. 3a times what will give you negative 24a? Yep, negative 8. So we'll put a negative 8 up here. And we go through the same process. We multiply. So 3a times negative 8 is negative 24a. But we subtract, and what do two negatives make? Positive. So basically the sign will change. Okay, and then let's do the next number. 2 times negative 8 is negative 16. Change the sign. That cancels. Negative 21 plus 16 is negative 5. So this is my answer. Your answer is a squared minus 3a minus 8. And then your remainder, you put your remainder over what you divided by, 3a plus 2. And that's your answer. So I did 2 examples for you. I want you guys to practice this process with the other 2 examples that are on your paper. Okay, so I'm going to go over the examples you just did. Check and see if you got it right. So we are doing this polynomial divided by k minus 1. Okay, so I'm going to do k squared because k times k squared is k cubed. What do I do after this? Yes, I'm going to subtract. Those cancel. Then I'm going to do negative 1 times k squared. What is that? Negative k squared. But I subtract, don't I? What do 2 negatives make? Yes, so you basically change the sign. Okay, so negative 8 plus 1 is negative 7. So this will be negative 7k squared. Bring down the next thing. Okay, now I'm going to ask the same question. K times what will give you negative 7k squared? Negative 7k. So now we're going to multiply again. So I'm going to do k times negative 7k is negative 7k squared, but we're subtracting, so the sign will be positive. Change the sign. Then we're going to do negative 1 times negative 7k is a positive 7k, but change the sign. Make it a negative 7. These cancel. Negative 3k minus 7k is negative 10k. Now bring down the 8. Okay. Now, k times what will give you negative 10k? Negative 10. Now we multiply. So, K times negative 10 is negative 10K, change the sign. Negative 1 times negative 10 is a positive 10, change the sign. Those cancel, this becomes negative 2. That's your remainder. So your answer is K squared minus 7K minus 10. Your remainder is negative 2 over what we divided by. So K minus 1. Okay? All right, so this is your answer. Okay. The other example problem you did, I have the answer key up here so you can check it. We're going to go ahead and move on to the next page because these are some special cases. Notice, guys, we have a missing term. When you have a missing term, it's going to be different. Notice it goes from 3 to 2, it skips the W term, and then it goes straight to the number. So whenever you are missing a term, when you're missing a term, let's write this down what we have. I'm missing a term, I'm going to put it right here. The missing term I'm missing is the W term. So add that in there with the 0, and then keep on going. So this is what you have to do when you're missing a term. Insert that term where it should be, okay? And then we'll do the same process. Okay, so guys, 4W times what will give you the 36W cubed? Yes, 9W squared. So let's write that on the top there. And then we multiply. 4 times 9 is 36. W times W squared is W cubed. And we subtract it. So the sign will change. And do the next number. Negative 3 times 9 is negative 27. And I'll have the W squared. Change that sign. Those cancel. Oh, these cancel. What's negative 27 plus 27? 0. Let's put 0W squared. And bring down the next term. 0W. I guess you can. Let's just cross it out. Let's make it easy. Just cross it out. Bringing down the 0. 4W times what will give you 0W? 0. Okay, let's put a 0 up there. 4W times 0 is what? 0. Negative 3 times 0 is? Okay, it's just 0. Okay, bring down the next number. We have a negative 6. Those are just zeros. That's your remainder. So your answer is 9W squared, and this is your remainder right here. So negative 6 over 4W minus 3. We'll do another missing term example. This one got crazy with all the zeros. Okay. Let's do another missing term. Notice, guys, this one, it goes from 3, it skips the 3, and it goes to 2. All right, so we have to fill in that missing term. So we're going to write 3A to the 4th. I'm going to add in the missing term, 0A to the 3. That one's missing. And then I'll copy down the rest. And it's being divided by A plus 2. So whenever you have a missing term, we have to add in what's missing. Okay, so we're going to do the same process. A times 3A cubed will give me the 3A to the 4th. Okay, so let's go ahead and multiply. This will become 3A to the 4th. We subtract it. 2 times 3a cubed is 6a cubed. And we subtract it, change the sign. Okay. Those cancel. What's 0 minus 6? Yep, so this will be negative 6a cubed. And bring down the next number. Okay, next question. A times what will give you negative 6a cubed? Yep, negative 6a squared. So now we're going to multiply. So a times negative 6a squared is negative 6a cubed. Change the sign. Next, 2 times negative 6 is negative 12, and then we have that a squared. Change the sign. Okay, so those cancel out. Negative 20 plus 12 is negative 8a squared. Let's bring down the next term. Okay, so let's ask ourselves the same question. A times what will give you negative 8a squared? Yep, negative 8a. Okay, so now we multiply. Okay, so I'm going to do a times negative 8a. That's negative 8a squared. Change the sign. And then let's do the second number. 2 times negative 8a is negative 16a. What do I do? Change the sign. This cancels. We're left with negative 6a plus 16a is 10a. Bring down the 14. Okay, so now a times what will give you 10a? 10. So we'll put a plus 10 right there. Okay, now we're going to multiply. So a times 10 is 10a. What do I do? Change the sign. Those cancel out. Next, 2 times 10 is 20. What do I do? Change the sign. So 14 minus 20 is negative 6. So this is my remainder. This is the remainder. Okay, so how I'm going to write my answer is basically everything that's up here at the top, and then I'll add on my remainder. So minus 6 over what I divided by is right here, the a plus 2. So this is my answer. That's the answer. I'll highlight it for you. This is the answer up here. All of this. Okay? So now that I did 2 examples of a missing power, I want you guys to do the other 2 examples, okay?